In the last video, I walked you through why nothing I tried was working, how my body didn't have the capacity to use any of the stuff I was throwing at it. The power was off, and I just kept bringing in raw material. So the question really became simple: how do I turn the power back on? And like I said, when I found the answer, I didn't believe it. After trying over 500 different things and having none of them fundamentally change anything, my default reaction was like anything else: yeah, we'll see. But let me tell you what happened. The answer for me was oxygen. More specifically, exercise with oxygen therapy, EWOT. The concept is really straightforward. You breathe concentrated oxygen through a mask while you exercise for 15 minutes. That combination, the movement increasing your circulation while your body is flooded with high concentration oxygen, drives oxygen deeper into your tissues than normal breathing ever could. It reaches cells that have been starved. It reaches areas where the inflammation has been choking off the supply. Now, when I say exercise, I want to be clear about what I mean. I'm not talking about CrossFit. I'm not talking about running a sprint. When I started, I got on my elliptical machine, which I was already using, and I put on my EWOT mask and I just went. And then something happened on day one that got my attention. I had been doing my elliptical at a resistance of 12. That was my level. That was what I could handle. On my first EWOT session, I had to increase the resistance to 14 because it felt too easy. It felt like I was getting less of a workout than I usually did at the same setting. I thought maybe it was a fluke. Maybe somehow I was having a good day. But the next session, I had to bump it up to 15. Same thing. The old resistance just didn't feel like a workout anymore. Today, I do my sessions at 17, and it feels no more challenging than when I used to do it at 12. That's the first sign that something was really happening. Not a feeling, not a vague sense that maybe something was different, a measurable, concrete change that I could see in the machine in front of me. Day one. Now, the bigger shifts took longer. And our customers often tell me they see quicker results than I saw. I mean, for me, it took about 3 months for that big aha. I started to notice things went beyond just the exercise benefits. I had more energy during the day, not a spike and a crash, actual sustained energy. And I was able to focus during meetings. I can't tell you how significant that one was for me. I could track conversations, hold a thought, contribute without worrying that I was going to lose the thread halfway through the sentence. My brain fog wasn't gone overnight, but it was lifting. Like someone was slowly turning up the lights in a room that had been dim for years. I wasn't crashing as hard in the afternoons. I wasn't hitting that wall at 2 o'clock where my body just shut down and I'd have to use pure willpower and caffeine. The crashes got less severe and then less frequent. Then they started stretching further and further apart. And here's the thing that mattered most. The progress held. It didn't disappear after a few days like everything else I'd tried. It built week after week, month after month. It kept building. And about a year in, I went to my doctor's office for a checkup. And when he walked through the door, he just stopped. He looked at me immediately and he was like, "Oh my gosh, you look like such a different person." He could just tell by looking at my face. He asked me, "What are you doing? Are you working on your mitochondrial health like we talked about?" And I told him I was. And then he asked me where I bought the equipment so he could recommend it to his patients. And when I told him I didn't buy it, I actually built it myself, he looked at me like I had a horn growing through my head. He just stared at me for a second. And then once he got over the shock, he asked me if I'd consider making the systems for his patients. That conversation is the birth of 1000 Roads and why I'm talking to you today. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's come back to why this worked when nothing else did. Because the why matters. It separates this from everything else on that list I tried. Remember when I explained in the last video about how inflammation causes hypoxia, oxygen starvation, which of course causes more inflammation and damage? It's what I call the doom loop. Oxygen starvation impairs your mitochondria. Impaired mitochondria can't produce energy. And without energy, your body can't fight, it can't detox, and it can't repair. And Lyme is smart. It creates that low oxygen environment on purpose because that's where it thrives. EWOT attacks that loop at the most fundamental level. It doesn't try to kill the Lyme directly. It doesn't add another supplement to the pile. It gives your cells the one thing they've been starving for: oxygen, so they can actually start functioning again. It makes your terrain inhospitable for Lyme and its co-infections. Once your mitochondria have the oxygen, they can produce energy, and once they produce energy, your immune system can fight, your body can detox, your cells can repair, the whole system starts to come back online. Now here's where things got really interesting for me, because EWOT wasn't the end of the story, it was the foundation. But I discovered something that took the results even further: red light therapy. And the order matters, so let me explain. Red light therapy works on your mitochondria too, but from a different angle. Instead of delivering oxygen, it stimulates the mitochondria directly. It wakes them up. It makes them more efficient at converting that oxygen into energy. So here's what I figured out. When I did EWOT first and flooded my body with oxygen, and then went immediately to the red light panel, no cool down, no break, straight from the elliptical to the light, the results were better than either alone. And not just a little better, noticeably better. Because now I was doing two things back to back. EWOT was delivering that massive dose of oxygen to the cells, and then the red light was stimulating those same mitochondria to maximize what they could do with all that fresh oxygen. One delivered the fuel, the other supercharges the engine. I call this the oxygen synergy system. And it's when my recovery really started to accelerate. The time between sessions where I felt good got longer. The brain fog cleared faster. The energy held deeper into the day. It was like the red light was helping my body lock in the gains from the oxygen. And it was like climbing the stairs 3 at a time versus 1 step at a time. Now I do want to be practical here, because everyone watching this is starting from a different place. So let me break this down how I'd think about it depending on where you are right now. If you can do any kind of movement, and I mean anything, even gentle movement like bouncing on a rebounder, marching in place, using an under-the-desk pedal bike, EWOT should be your starting point. It's the foundation. Even light movement while breathing concentrated oxygen starts driving the oxygen deeper into your tissues and fixing your microcirculation issues. You don't need to be an athlete, you just need to move. Now, if you can't actively exercise, but you can tolerate heat, an infrared sauna or an infrared sauna blanket can be used, and that's what I call passive EWOT. The heat can raise your heart rate and get your circulation going without you having to generate effort. And you breathe the concentrated oxygen at the same time while the heat does the work. Your body still gets that oxygen delivered to cells. Now, if you can't handle any of that, what if the fatigue is so deep and the reactions are so intense that any form of exertion or heat is off the table? Then you start with red light. Red light on its own can begin to support your mitochondria without any physical demand. You sit in front of the panel, no movement, no exertion. It starts helping your cells produce more energy from whatever oxygen they already have. But I do want to be honest with you about something. And this is something most red light companies won't tell you. Red light alone does have a ceiling. Here's why. When your body is full of inflammation from Lyme and co-infections, your cells are oxygen starved. They're hypoxic. Red light works by revving up the mitochondria to use oxygen more efficiently. But if there's barely any oxygen available to those cells, there's only so much revving you can do. You can stomp on the gas pedal all day, but if the fuel tank is near empty, you're not going far. That's the ceiling, and it is real. I don't say that to discourage anyone from starting with red light. For some people, it's the right first step. But I want you to go in with eyes wide open. Red light alone can help, but it will plateau. The good news is that plateau might be exactly enough to get you to the next step. Enough baseline improvement that you can tolerate passive EWOT. And from passive EWOT, you can build towards active EWOT. And from there, the full oxygen synergy system, EWOT immediately followed by red light, where the real acceleration happens. You may not start both on day one. There's often a ramp-up period. You don't want to overdo it and trigger a massive Herx reaction that just sets you back. But the goal is to build towards that combination, because that's where the multiplier effect lives. Now, quick side note, because I know all of this is a lot to take in, you're probably trying to figure out which path makes sense for you. But the bigger point is this: I didn't need more things. I'd already tried a million things. What I needed was to address the actual problem, the oxygen starvation, the mitochondrial dysfunction, the microcirculation problem that no one seems to mention, and of course, the capacity deficit that was making everything useless. EWOT gave me that foundation. Red light amplified it. Together, they gave me my body and the ability to actually heal. And in the next video, I'm going to talk about how all this applies to co-infections, because I know a lot of you aren't just dealing with Lyme. You've got Bartonella and Babesia and maybe even more. And I had the same question: does this still work when you're fighting on multiple fronts? Because co-infections make everything more complicated. The symptoms are different. The inflammations are worse. The Lyme protocols get messier. I'll tell you what happened with mine. Check out the next video. Thank you.